Welcome back to Between the Lines on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We've been very privileged and happy to have Alex Smith on the show all season long. And boy, I wish we'd been out at Arrowhead earlier this week sitting down for a little shorter conversation, getting ready for a playoff game, but that's not the reality of the way things work sometimes. He joins us in studio today to talk about the season that was 2013. Alex, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's weird being over here on your turf.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Has the finality of all of this set in, or does it take quite a while? I mean, it was just kind of a stunning end of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty final. I mean, you know, it's so weird. I mean, you're in season mode. I mean, you've been in this, kind of the routine of things the whole time, and that playoff week, you're still, it's a Wednesday, it's a Thursday, and you're leading up to the game, and then. Bam, you lose, it's over. I mean, literally, exit stuff the next day, you have your exit physical the next day, clean out your locker, all that stuff, exit meetings with the coaches. I mean, it's done. I mean, it's season's over. It's weird. It's a very weird thing. Yeah.
Are you able to separate away from it after it happens, or have you spent, some time at home or whatever in the evening rethinking certain plays or certain moments in that game or the season or things that happened? Do you think a lot about that? Or do you put that all behind you and clear your head now the next few weeks and maybe think about it somewhere down the road?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly there. I mean, the day, the 48 hours after the game, you're still rehashing it, kind of like any other game. It's tough to get into that stuff out of your head. If I'd have done this differently, if I'd have done that differently, all those types of things kind of replay in your head as you watch the film, meet with the coaches. But certainly, I mean, at some point you hit, I mean, you can't do anything about it. The season's over. We're in the off season now. We don't start up again until April. I mean, you're getting all those dates now. I mean, it's you were a year ago at this time. So very, very, very strange. So a little bit, yeah. Once you've done that, rehashed, I mean, you kind of press reset, right? I mean, what am I looking to get out of this off season? What do I need to do? What do I need to get better at? What are the weaknesses I need to improve on? All those things. Then a part of it is, yeah, you're getting away for a little bit, but I certainly feel like the older you get, I mean, the less time you spend away from it. When I was my first couple of years, I used to get away for a while. Now I feel like I've been in there every day.
Stay in it.
Yeah, you just you enjoy it. You like coming to work. You enjoy the got to get better. I mean, what do I need to get better at, and working on those things. So.
Do you watch the playoffs as they go forward, or do you care? I mean,
I mean, I would like to say I don't, but yeah, I'm certainly just sitting there watching them. I just like football. I mean, so I don't know how I wouldn't watch them. It's a little torturous. I mean, I almost feel like it's worse watching the games than it is playing in them. But yeah, I certainly would watch them, yeah.
And Herm Edwards here for a while as the coach. When he was the coach, he didn't watch Super Bowl. And people would literally spot him around town. He'd be at the movies. He'd go to the movies, get away from it, said he couldn't stand it when he was either coaching or playing, wouldn't watch it. I guess everybody's different, but there is something about the teams that get to this point, and as they're playing, is there any work to it all, or you just watch it as a fan like the rest of us?
No, I mean,
you don't try to pick up or watch or see things they're doing.
No, I'm watching. I'm watching.
Right, okay.
I'm watching as these are my peers and watching to see what they do, and certainly obviously watching a lot of the offense and quarterback play, just from habit. So I'll watch it. I mean, I have no stake in it, but certainly analyzing what they're doing, all that stuff going on. So
as you look back on this season, I said for me the biggest headline for the Chiefs this year. And this may not sound like as big a deal to you as it is to me or maybe the people of Kansas City. We found a quarterback in this town. We found a quarterback. We got one. They made a deal. They lost some draft choices, but we got Alex Smith, and we're going to have Alex Smith for a while. We'll get into that maybe in a little bit. But I'd love for you to just tell me how comfortable you feel maybe in this offense. It looked like as the season went on, you got more and more comfortable. It looks like you're perfectly suited to it. Andy talks all the time about every weapon on the field. You can't prepare for any one thing. You seem to be that kind of quarterback. You can do a lot of different things within the offense. It almost is too good to be true. I mean, you must feel really good about your first year in Kansas City.
Yeah, I felt really great, especially these last 8-9 games. I felt really comfortable with what we were doing. I was loving what we were doing. I felt like I really understood why things were in, why Coach was calling plays. I really felt like I had a good grasp on what Doug and Andy were putting in, and I think. As a quarterback, when you can understand why plays are getting called, why they're in the game plan, I feel like I can operate them better. If the look we're looking for is there, you take the shot. If not, you make a positive play and you move on to the next one. And really felt like this last 8-9 games, second half of the season, really enjoyed what we were doing. I felt like I had, good understanding of it. I liked it. I felt like we were spreading the field, tough to defend. So, really did like it. And I think it's kind of a good foundation for us moving forward. It's always tough on offense. I feel like there's a little bigger learning curve, a little longer learning curve than on defense. Really feel like we were hitting our stride, the back half of the season. So
You've had a lot of coordinators, been in a lot of different offenses, even going back to college or high school before that. Does this rank anywhere? I mean, as far as looking at the way an offense operates and you thinking about what your game is, how either perfect or non-perfect is this offense?
Yeah, it's tough to compare them all, and they're also different personnel-wise and scheme-wise. I think the thing I appreciate most about Coach Reed and Doug and the entire offensive staff is I don't feel like they put boundaries on any of us. This is very much, and it's very different from most West Coast systems I've been in, because a lot of times they are very structured, and this is the way we've been doing things all the way going back to Joe Montana and and this and that, and I feel like Coach Reed and Doug are the exact opposite. Yeah, we're running West Coast and we have West Coast terminology, and there are some stuff we run that goes all the way back, but I feel like they're so open to our personnel. What are our strengths? What do we do well? And let's put guys in those situations. And I think you kind of saw that as the season went on. Moving Dwayne inside, I think you saw him flourish in there when we were moving him around and getting some good matchups. Finding ways to get Dex the ball in space, using Donnie's speed. Jamal, you saw Jamal all over the field. Mixing in some of the QB run stuff that I do like, and spreading the field out. Those are all things I think that are very foreign sometimes to the West Coast system, but I think it's just a tribute to our coaches and finding ways to, what are we good at, what are our strengths, and using our personnel in the right way. And from a system that way, I love it, because like I said, I don't feel like there's any boundaries. I feel like Coach Reed's open to anything. He loves trying new things, and he's always going to stay aggressive, which for me as a quarterback I love. So.
All right, I know that you played on some bad football teams in San Francisco, so you knew what that was about. When you got here and you're like, okay, I got a 2-14 football team, got a new coach, we're starting this whole thing over. I know you're an optimistic guy. You believe in your abilities. You believe in your teammates' abilities right away. Did you really, truly, honestly believe what you guys did this year was possible?
Yeah, I don't know if I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was a possibility.
A possibility.
I knew the potential was there. I knew we had there was that type of talent in the locker room. I knew that with this coaching staff, if we got things going the right way, good things could happen. I looked at, you just kind of look from afar at what happened 2 seasons ago, and I've been a part of teams like that where you kind of can't get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And you're beating yourself more than the other team's beating you, and I've been a part of that, and I've caused some of that, early on in my career, and I think I found that when you can kind of eliminate some of that, and you eliminate the big mistakes, the turnovers, the things that cost you games, and you make it tough to beat. And if you stay around and you do the little things, all of a sudden you win a few games and you get some momentum going, and it can really lead to some great things. And I thought we did that this year. Obviously got off to a great start. And then there in the end, faced some tough games. I certainly felt like there were some really close ones that if we could have just pulled out, all of a sudden maybe you are getting the bye and you're playing some home field games there. So, but certainly some great things to learn from. I think the more of those big games you play in, and we did play a lot of big games this year, especially for a young team, those are learning lessons I think we'll take with us.
We could have been sitting here talking a week ago after an 8-8 season, and I think most people in Kansas City would have said, wow, what a dramatic step. It was really bad here the year before, and it had been a slide for a couple of years leading into that. And maybe it'll take you a while. It's not taken me very long to realize what was accomplished this year. It didn't end, obviously, last Saturday the way everybody wanted, but this is a really big step. This is more than, hey, we're an 8-8 team, there's something to build on. Next year maybe we'll have a winning record, things like that. You're really going to approach the offseason and going into next season now as a winning football team, knowing that you can beat anybody, anytime, anywhere. You obviously experienced that in San Francisco as well. How does that change all the next few months' work and preparation as you go into another season?
Yeah, it's good. I think expectation levels change, and I think that's a good thing, especially within the building. I think deep down in, certainly, yeah. Making the playoffs at a minimum, right? That's the expectation. Sure. We got to get into the dance, and and you basically all the work that went into that. You look at that from last year, but there is a mindset change. A mindset that you expect to get back to where we were this year, and if not, obviously further. But that's just the starting point. Whereas even last year, you're unsure. There's so many new faces, and like I said, you're kind of hoping
Sure.
a little bit that we get things going and we can get there. Certainly, there is a mindset change there where you expect it. I mean, we're going to step on the field and you expect to win those games. And when you get into tough battles, we've been there before. When we get into those big games, we've been there before. And this next year, obviously, we're going to pull them out.
All right, now I'm going to get up in your business. You ready?
Yeah.
You know I do this every now and then, right? Okay, here we go. Have you seen Jay Cutler's contract?
I heard about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I got that's good for him.
Good for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. If Jay
guess.
Cutler's getting that kind of money,
Yeah.
good for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'll say, because you won't, this isn't even a comparison. What
Yeah.
we did here in Kansas City and what Jay Cutler has done for much of his career, to me, is not even a comparison. $17 million a year. They're going out 7 years with a guy like Cutler. You've got a year left on your deal.
Uh-huh.
The assumption here is, and maybe it's already started, that your representatives are speaking with the Chiefs about a long-term contract. Is that something you want?
It's something that I've heard it going around. I have not heard anything. My agent has not heard anything. At this point, I still have a year on my contract. Without a doubt, I love it here. I love the guys on the team. I love the city. I love playing for Coach Reed and the coaching staff. So certainly something that I would like to get worked out at some point. The nice thing is I do have a year left on my deal. There is no crazy rush. I think it will take care of itself. I'm a firm believer of, for me, my job is to go out on the field and to become the best quarterback I can be and continue to play good football and get better. And I think that stuff handles itself. I think there's a fair number for everybody. I certainly think, they're
I know it's hard.
Yeah. So
a couple of years ago, Flacco played an entire year. It wound up working out pretty good for Flacco. They won the Super Bowl and got a big deal.
Yeah.
But it was a distraction the entire year that was his last year. And
Yeah.
everybody was talking, are the Ravens going to keep Flacco? What's going to happen here?
Yeah.
He's going to be a free agent. To me, I don't want any part of that
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
I don't think your teammates want any
Yeah.
part of that. I think we need to know this is your football team and maybe even your last stop in professional football. Is that something you think about your family? Do you think about the team? What are the things that you factor in?
I certainly, I don't feel like I would ever let it become a distraction. I feel like I'm in a different place than some of these guys. Some of these guys that were signing their second contracts and haven't been in the league as long. I feel like I've been in the league a long time, even though I'm only 29. I feel like I have a different mindset on contracts, and it is a two-way street. You're not necessarily just trying to break the bank. I played 9 years and I was the number one pick. I feel like, I don't know. I said, I think there's a fair number. I don't think I would ever let it become a distraction. Certainly, I feel like, the team comes first before everything. And for me, I think that's something I take very seriously. I'm not just saying, because as a quarterback, I benefit more than anybody else from the guys around me. So,
Sure. I'd rather talk years more than money. Andy Reid was in here a couple of days ago with Seren Petro and said, Alex Smith if the guy had $500 million, he's still the same guy. He's just flat not going to change. He's so consistent in everything that he does, not just in his football life, but in his personal life and things like that. And that's a really nice compliment. And I don't know what the numbers will be, and I don't know that you're going to sit there and beat the Chiefs over the head and say, wait a second, Jay Cutler got this. But for me, it's about, they made a commitment to Andy and John Dorsey, and we've got an era of Chiefs football here. I don't know how long eras last anymore. Sometimes they go 5 to 7 years. That's pretty darn good. That would probably coincide with how many more years you can play. Most quarterbacks make it to about, 37, 38 years old. So I don't know. They're handing out 7-year deals. Have you thought about years and what it means to this team with this staff and your teammates to say, this is it. Here's our run. We're going forward.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't thought about
Okay.
years. Like I said, I still have the year left. I think, like I said, I love it here. I certainly would love more years. I don't know what that number is. Because to a certain extent, I think, these guys can sign these 7-year deals. At a certain point, it's what have you done for me lately? You got to be continuing to put good years of football together, otherwise you're not going to be around. That's the bottom line. For me, I certainly feel like my best football is ahead of me. And that's the honest truth. I still feel like I'm just scratching the surface and my potential so how many years it is, I don't know. I certainly love my situation here. I love, like I said, the guys in the locker room, the city, the coaches. Everything about it. So I think it'll get done when how many years, all that stuff. I haven't given that much thought. The
Right.
season just ended. So tough to say.
Would it be your preference to do a deal before next year and have a long-term contract? In baseball's a lot different than football. Baseball players all the time are like, I got a free agent year. I'm going to go play my year, be a free agent, see how much money I can go make. What would your preference be? A new contract or play the one out and see what happens?
Yeah, certainly if it works and like I said, you come to an agreement where both sides are happy and fair, and it's something that's fair. Yeah, no question. I'm definitely not opposed. Yeah, absolutely not opposed to that at all. It's something I would like. Like I said, love it here. So, not looking for greener pastures or anything like that. Just not my mindset. Like I said, I've been in the league long enough. I feel like I'm in a different place. So
we're talking with Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith as the season ended last week against the Indianapolis Colts. And what was a very disappointing day, I think, for a lot of Chiefs fans, but expectation has been raised so much this year. What are your thoughts about what the team needs to do better next year? What were the shortcomings? And you'll probably only speak from the offensive side of the ball, but if you would for me, or if you could, as a whole, is there something missing, something that needs to be improved upon more than anything else? What are your thoughts about what needs to be better next year to go even farther?
Yeah, well, in a general sense, just reflecting on the season, certainly would be the consistency. You look at the first half of the season, obviously defense playing lights out and really carrying us for the most part, and offense. I thought we did a good job of not turning the ball over and being opportunistic at times in the red zone and getting some scores. And finding ways to win some games, but really defense pulling us out. And, really kind of the tale of two seasons. Then, flip into the second half and offense really felt like we got rolling. But you look at that as far as consistency. You got to be able to put those phases together. And in special teams, I do feel like special teams play great all season. Certainly, as far as field position goes and making game-changing plays, and as far as the return game and kicking game, really played great all year. So, but as far as offense and defense, finding a way to put those phases together and being more consistent over the course of a season, not having the fluctuations up and down. And then the big thing is that when you hit December and January, that you're playing your best football. I don't think we can necessarily say that as a team. That we were playing our best football at the end of the year, and that certainly needs to be the goal. That you're hitting your best game at the end of the season, and that's how you go on runs, and that's how you win championships.
Dwayne Bowe's best game was at the end of the season, and he just looked terrific.
Yeah.
And we heard Andy Reid say earlier this week, he said, maybe I'll take a little of the blame because we didn't call his number enough early on or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what the case is. There was a lot of newness here, new quarterback, whatever. What will your offseason be like with him? I know it's limited in what you guys can do as a team and things like that. But do you identify him? You say, that's my guy. I see what I can do with this player, and I need him and he needs me, and you guys will spend a lot of time together? Or just tell me what you think your future might be with Dwayne.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice that we'll be able to, last offseason, it was so hard. You're learning the names of routes. This is what we call a slant. This is what we call this, that. So you're learning that stuff, and you're going out there, and it was so new. You're literally starting from the ground up, the ABCs of the offense. So it's tough to get into the nuances of that quarterback receiver relationship, and he and I get along so well. I really feel like by the end of the season, not just me, but I feel like coaches, Coach Reid too, understanding the things that he does well. He does some things so well. And I think that's what you saw by the end of the season, us moving him around, finding those matchups. The playoff game, obviously a great example of that, finding ways to get him matched up because he is such a mismatch. And I think he's kind of different from some receivers Coach Reid's been around. He's those last few guys that he's had there in Philly were such smaller speed guys, and to have a guy like Dwayne that different, but such a unique guy and so strong in different areas. So you look forward to that. I certainly think. He's a big time player in this league. He's such a matchup problem for teams, especially having the ability like he does to move around. So. And then the thing I will say about Dwayne that I truly appreciate as a quarterback, that the first half of the season that so many guys in his position could have been difficult. He's not getting featured maybe in certain games, and he's not getting the targets that he wanted, but we were winning games, and that's all Dwayne wanted. And that's pretty rare to find in big time receivers, and truly a credit to him how selfless he is, and the guy practices every day. Works extremely hard, and like I said, I think as you saw the offense pick up in the back half of the season, certainly you saw Dwayne being a huge reason for that. So yeah, I look forward to kind of just continue that to develop in the off season and into next season.
All right, I sense throughout the season that I don't know that you're like some intensely private guy, but I think you're a little private. We didn't talk much about who you are, what you like to do, things like that. Maybe now today's the day, and I won't dig too deep, but just tell me a little bit about your off season, your family, your plans. What are your dreams, your aspirations when you get weeks off or time off this off season? What is it that you love to do? What drives you outside of football?
Yeah, well, I mean, it would have to start with my wife and 2 boys. I mean, that's pretty much it. And
they're little ones, right?
Yeah, little ones. So I have a 2.5-year-old and a 9-month-old.
Oh my!
So that pretty much fills up a huge chunk of what you just asked. Yeah, so we're gonna stick around here for a little bit, not in a crazy rush, but we will head back to California at some point. I did get invited, and I'm gonna play in the AT&T Pebble Beach.
Nice.
Which I being there in the Bay Area, I've gotten a chance to be around it, and it's a very, very cool event. And, couldn't pass that up. So I do like to golf a little bit.
I just want to show you this back right here is really strong.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, good to know.
You got a caddy. I'm telling you, my back is really strong.
I've had a few offers.
Have you had a few offers on that one?
So I'm looking forward to that. I will play a little golf, as much as you can play when you have 2 little boys. But really, yeah, spending time with my family. I mean, you sacrifice so much. I'm in the office so much and watching film and trying to do all those little things throughout the season that you put off that time for the off season, and they make sacrifices too, my wife and kids, and so that's the time to make that up, and so it's spending a lot of time with them, getting some travel in, wherever that is, and just kind of spending time with them. But certainly, I think between that and maybe getting a little golf in, I mean, that kind of eats it all up.
That's cool. Now, do you have a pro golfer that you know that you'll play with, or do they assign you one?
Yeah, they do the pairings there. So
I put you with Dustin Johnson.
I don't.
I'm watching last week, and Dustin Johnson, I think, finished 3rd or something to Zach Johnson out at Kapalua. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, my God, that's Alex Smith playing golf on tour. You look just like him.
I'll put the request in. Yeah, we'll see.
If they put the 2 of you together, you
see.
might have all kinds of crazy things going on there. I think there's some history here. Am I right, Lebo? Tom Watson's won that event from Kansas City. I think George Brett won it one year with Fred Couples. Does that sound right? No pressure. Just
there we go.
Yeah. Kansas City connections to go win the thing.
It's very close to the end of football season, so I haven't touched a club since the summer. So
I'm guessing you've
played
if I can ramp
before,
it up. Right?
I played it a couple times. Yeah, so it's obviously beautiful, down there, and the event's great. I mean, it's you're playing. I mean, these guys are playing a real match, and all of a sudden we're out there with them. I couldn't imagine that taking place with football. So, but unique. So, looking forward to that. That should be fun.
Have a great time with that, and have a great time this off season with your family. Congratulations on the young kids and the family that you're raising. We're glad you're a part of everything that we do here in Kansas City. We're thrilled to have you with the Chiefs, and terrific first year. I know it didn't end the way everybody wanted it to end last Saturday, but bigger and better things ahead, man. All the best.
That's right. Yeah, Kevin, thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on every week. Alex Smith, quarterback, the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us right here on Between the Lines.